This will be episode 27, cycle 455 and on. Hopefully, we can stabilize the oil planet today, and I won't need to stop shipping in water. Also, happy Easter, everybody. I know you two will be getting this much later. This should be, I believe this one will be uploaded for next week, Monday? Otherwise, it's Tuesday. Cannot remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I have been busy the last 2 days. I'm also stupidly sore because spent quite a while in VR, and that was not great in one session, in one literal session. It's like, congratulations, you're going to be standing for 8 hours in VR. Oh God, why? Mistakes were made. But other than that, taking yesterday off to recover from that, I am pretty good to go. Now, our main goal for today is to tame this cool steam vent. I have no idea when it will go off. We also don't have a field researcher, which is why I was saying that we most likely have to send our people back to pick one up. But everything else can pretty much be taken care of, and there's neutronium there. What have we not discovered on this one? Did I think about it? We have the chlorine vent, we have the coal steam geyser, we have the carbon dioxide geyser, volcano, and a miner. I don't want to check that one using the method we already did because we now know where the water is, so I think it's safe that we don't need to worry about it. Well, we'll just dig to it eventually and figure it out. But water-wise, let's see how much we have left. 608. Oh god, 687.2 kilograms. Not much. Not much at all. Okay, let's do a priority check before we get kicked off. Make sure all of our machinery is set correctly. I think we are good. Oh, wait. Yes, everything looks good. Hopefully everyone's Easters went well. Hopefully the weekend went well for you. Never know. Ship. Food is at 3. Yeah, we'll be getting it here soon. Very soon. A lot of iron that needs to be processed up. A lot of tile placed. Elixir, no. Elixir, no. Okay, good. Move. Very much. Don't do it, Slickster. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. $500 milligrams. I could just steal this. Ask it. Off. Build it first. We can see some water, so we're okay. Fruit, that's fine. Dropping. Stabilized. Kilograms. Good. just for a little bit. Just to vent that, so that way the water doesn't get stuck. So, oops, take care of the pit, please. Fine, just keep it running. I don't think we have the power. That's so close. Something turns on, we're doomed. That will definitely destroy something, for sure. Clothing, security. I should probably switch this out to the crew module. We won't be here much longer. I also have to ship over a bunch of steel. Refrigerated. I think we're not producing any CO2 because we're using suits at the moment. I may need to borrow chlorine. I guess that we just make the chlorine box and just for it. Go. Helen, I know. Hurry it up, guys. Gotta finish this, that way you can maintain the food bonuses. Finish it, please. Thank you. Good. Good, good, good. This rock here. I need... Okay, yep. Bridge will be here. We'll just use lead. That'll be fine. I put turbine there, steam turbine there. This one will just go straight into the fridge and then back out. So, technically speaking, keep them balanced. Right there. So, do I want to use this to cool this? Not really. It's going to be so much overcooling, it's not even funny. Not that would be so much overkill, it's not even funny. Aluminum. That. Nation. Heat plate. Aluminum right there. Air rail. Could just go up. Yeah, that would work better. Anything else? Edge, so I designate ingredients. Combination-wise, same exact setup. Copy or not. Okay. Yeah, screw it. Let's make it a lead. I don't really need to care because it's not gonna hit. Yeah. It could hit the melting point. Probably won't though. Yeah, it shouldn't hit the melting point. I shouldn't have to worry about it too much. That. Thermal sensor and pipe sensor. We need 2,400 steel, and we can make this. Obviously, power box. Here, this one I will make of iron as a precaution. And that's that. Vacuums, don't worry about it too much. The only real issue I have is that like a middle line, which I'd rather not. So I'm kind of debating on it. Could just branch this down with the back here, or I could branch it on. Either way. Oh yeah, let's put it on this side. No. And we want plates there. Up. We cancel that so many dudes can still get over there. Mini gas pump. there. That wall, build that wall, run the whole thing, boom down. This should be plenty enough to completely cool down this entire base and make it self-sufficient. Get food production built up in here. Because I will be leaving dupes here at some point. Good. Pair of gas-wise, small layer of CO2. These guys don't even need to be touched at this point. I do need to build a breeding pen for them, though. That will become an issue. These guys in here, I will probably not do that. But I'll have to definitely pour in fluids and then remove all the gas. Gas from here needs to be removed and replaced with chlorine. And yeah, the automation needs to be hooked up to here. Up there. Up. Your loader. There. Right. Good, good, good. Borrow our copper. There we go. Yes, this entire thing is now automated. Fluid-wise, I will definitely probably use either ethanol, petroleum, or water. Probably ethanol. I could ship a lot of it over. Or cooling. Might be the best option. Oops, build those, please. Get the food back online. As quickly as possible. Yep. Downside is, obviously, room here. You should be able to get that done pretty quickly. Definitely gonna want it like that. Let me lower these down by one. That way it doesn't interfere. The water tile that'll form doesn't randomly interfere with the steam turbine. It's rare that it happens, but it is. We still have to calculate when the water gets spawned in, know when it's spawned in directly on top of the actual thing. 894, good. Food wise. 50% exact. Okay. We're be very careful with this. I'll just be happy when the fridge is built. As long as Spoon gets everything done, mechatronics wise, they won't need to come back. So that'll be a huge upgrade. That means that we could take a researcher and start actually checking all the locations. I'm glad I don't have to research the oil veins. I'm not gonna lie. These would drive me nuts. Spoon's our resident mechatronics engineer here. Oh no, water came in without the tracker. Ah! Ramp. This. Eventually switch this to plastic, right? Evil. Now. Spoon, where are you? Okay, good. There's Spoon. As long as they build the wiring down here, both of these, and the conveyor rail and chute. Oh, and the heavy wire here. Then we're done. Spoon is cleared to go back, whatever they please. I don't need to think about it. Because anyone can build the aqua tuners. But all the infrastructure around them have to be built to make connection here. Infost! Welcome back. Hopefully your Easter went well. Your dupe is doing just fine. Let me find him real quick. You got a little banged up. I think you may have ran into the bees. I mean, that's a pretty good indicator that the bees. Yep. 99.9% sure you got nailed by bees. Just based on the damage. 30 points of damage is normally 2 bee stings, so pretty sure it was that. Yep. Damn you, bees. Why can't you be normal and not randomly attack my duplicates while they're in protective suits? Ow. Really? Bucket 2 now? Oh, well, thank you. Also, one moment. Bucket is also bugged. Sorry, Bucket. There's nothing I could do. Ow. You get that one. And first you get that one. Damn you, bees. Frustrating. Fine. so overpressure right now. Wait, what? Hold up. Ow! I'm gonna pause for a second. How is this happening? I just checked 1 cycle ago, and this was 76 degrees. This is now 38 degrees. And it's not leaking heat. This entire line was 78 degrees centigrade, and now it's down to 37.7. Not even pumping out because the pressure is too high still. The source is 95 degrees. Everywhere. Like, I can understand this kind of temperature valence. That's fine. Then we get on over here, and then there's just like a 30-degree difference. Like, you drop from 60 all the way down. Hey, Neo. Welcome back, by the way. Yeah, over 1 cycle, we just lost like 40 degrees worth of energy. What the heck? I have no idea. Bridge? I don't know. Maybe. But there's... Like, I'm keeping it hot. I'm confused. I was thinking maybe it was the ethanol, but then the ethanol isn't even heating up either. Maybe it's this? Let's see. This is negative 60 and negative 72. No temperature transfer, really. Also, this would freeze. I am confused, and I have no idea. I don't know. I just checked on this right when we started the stream. It was 75. I look away for 1 cycle, and it's down to 30. What in the world? What happened? My energy! I need that! I need that to turn stuff to steam! Screw it. Don't let that vent. It's just not... Yeah, no. I need this to be warm for when I come back, but I was just trying to clean up some of it so we can get some more water circulating properly. I didn't care if we wasted it, but now I care. Somehow I just lost a ton of energy. Still 38. I lost 0.1. Yeah, I don't know. Get a bug yesterday when loading. I've had a couple now. Nothing like serious like what we had in the previous save, but yeah, my food vaporized. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That was a really annoying bug. Sometimes you would... where's my fridge? Moment. Sometimes your food, if it was in a refrigerator when loading, would just disappear. That's why I normally just do this, and then I would set this up as ingredients only. But lately I'm just kind of just keeping it all here, just as one. But yeah, the refrigerator sometimes would just delete food, which was horrible. It's why I eventually just learned to use weight plates instead. Oof. Yeah, that was an old bug. I didn't think it was back. That's not a good thing. Good news, I use weight plates. That way I don't have to think about it. I keep one fridge full, and then I use weight plates for everything else. As you can see, 542.1 kilograms of food. All neatly preserved. And even over here I have it falling on top of them. So I gotta be careful on this one then. I might disable this fridge, or at least kick it down to like 20 degrees. Sorry, 20 kilograms. Here. Is there a guide how to make it? Make one of these cooling units? Well, I'm technically making one right now. Technically speaking, I could just mark this episode, because this episode is going to be 27. I should make one. I'm pretty sure people have made them. There's like multiple ways to make them in general. I normally prefer doing it this method, where you have the vertical pipe and cooling out the top. It's easier because of pipe priority. So you always want it to merge for the output on this side. You can totally flip this. It's just I prefer it this way. Because for some reason the game just prefers to go from left to right and how it's coded. For pipe priority purposes. For merging, at least. So, automation-wise, liquid insulated pipe with a thermal sensor directly on it. Thermal sensor right there. It's one AND gate, and it connects directly into the aqua tuner right there. So this is the aqua tuner connection point. This is for the liquid pipe sensor and the box. Pipe-wise, super basic. Primary base cooling will be over here. Fridge cooling will be over here. I'll be running 2 aqua tuners. And this I set at, I think this is the main base, 23. Switching to how to build around a slush geyser and found a 40-minute video. Watched it all. Ah, gotcha. And learned nothing. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, okay. Yeah. Let me set these up real quick. So these will be made out of steel. They can handle 375. I prefer keeping it around 260 because if you start going higher than that, your steam turbines have an issue. Did not show like anything useful? Oh no. That's actually terrible. Also, that's fantastic. That sounds terrible. And immediately the game sends me a pip package. Okay. I'm calling them in on this planet immediately. Nothing about sensors? What? Why? Why? Like, he didn't even explain how... Did he at least explain how aqua tuners work? I would hope that the first thing explained is the aqua tuner setup and the basic automation. Nothing. Oh god. Okay. Aqua tuners delete 12 degrees of whatever fluid is in their pipes. Fluids with higher thermal conductivity and thermal capacity delete more temperature. What are you doing? Okay, I know that feeling well. But again, never trust your dupes. Number 1 rule of oxygen not included. Never trust your dupes. Weird things will happen. They will phase through things. They will do things that make no sense. And their little AI can sometimes completely bork out. That is just expected. That is the norm. You just need to understand that bad things will happen. And it's up to you to have planned previously for said situation. I know. Like these little guys will make way more mistakes than any other computer, like simulated minions, pawns, or whatever you want to call them, than any other game I have ever played. Even Kenshi doesn't make this many mistakes. And mind you, mistakes in that one will just insta-kill you. So it's like Andrew World. But this one, it's definitely a slow and painful death for dupes when they make mistakes. Or if you make mistakes on their behalf. Either one. Both of which are disastrous. But yes, specifically for these things here, let me go and see if I can find one. You can make them stupid compact. Like, this is as tight as you can get it with every single tile taking up space. Pipe-wise, pretty simplistic for a fridge. If you're using CO2, you can go way colder than this. You want one? But yes, for specifically carbon dioxide, you can go all the way down to negative 36. And you'll have 0.1 degrees of range to work with. I would not recommend doing that, because again, food deep freezes at negative 18. So you don't need to go beyond technically negative 18. I normally give it a little bit of extra valence, because you are not going to be running around with insulation this early in the game to make insulated tiles. So you will have heat leaking through, as well as the food itself is warm when cooked, and then will slowly cool off. So that right there, pretty basic understanding. If you're working with CO2, I normally keep it around negative 26. If you're working with chlorine, I keep it at negative 28. Use ceramic already? Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, ceramic's still better. My first thing I always do is just make a chlorine, like either a chlorine or a CO2 box like this, and then I just go from there. Thankfully, this area was already cooled down, so I didn't actually have to worry about it too much. But as all of my machinery slowly warmed it up, I eventually was like, okay, time to build a fridge. Base cooling wise, aqua tuners delete 12 degrees worth of technically total energy. So technically speaking, you're gonna have to set for 23 degrees. This will actually kick it down to 11 when it detects. And you can see how the pipe priority functions. So right now, all my water is currently that's going through the sensor is at 20.9. Which means my entire base's regular average temperature is about 20.8. That's supercoolant though? No, you don't need supercoolant. If you're building a fridge, you need ethanol. Or petroleum or crude oil. If you're cooling a base, normally you would use polluted water because ethanol is kind of a pain in the butt to get. Obviously, I have a crap load of pips, which means I have a bunch of lumber already, and everything I've used is naturally done. Yeah, crude oil works. If you have access to crude oil early, like I did not have access to crude oil early, we got screwed. We got screwed really bad. Yeah, crude oil, its freezing point is 40.1. So again, remember, freeze point for food, -18. You can go a little bit farther than that to give you some extra valence in case the fridge warms up a little bit. You have access to a CO2 geyser. Oh, that's perfect. Just use that. Sadly, the CO2 geyser itself will not really warm up the area or cool down the area. Because, remember, CO2 in liquid state, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful as a coolant to an extent. Not a bad thing. When CO2 becomes gas, on the other hand, thermal conductivity, 0.015. Like, the difference between this is that, as a gas, this doesn't transfer any energy worth a damn. It's almost as bad as chlorine. As a liquid, it's fine. And yes, Slicksters will not survive being anywhere near a geyser. You look at this. Specific heat capacity 0.846. Thermal conductivity 1.460. That's pretty good. That means that anything that touches this is going to get really, really cold really, really fast. Problem. All of that energy will get imparted into the carbon dioxide, and the second it turns into a gas, its thermal conductivity immediately dips into 0.015. It literally goes down to 10% of its temperature transfer ratio, which is terrible. It means that when this turns to a gas, this won't actually cool anything that it touches. Only when it's in liquid form will you get any kind of temperature reduction. Because this won't, the gas won't heat up from the ambient temperature. So it won't do anything. Which is why these things kind of suck, to be honest. It does bother me on that. If you're trying to run Slicksters and actually keep them alive, and you're doing an achievement run, obviously you have to get super sustainable first. Which we already got, what was it, cycle 284, I think it was? 284, 281. Super sustainable. You gotta do this one. If you're trying to get all the achievements done in one go. I missed Carnivore by about 43,000 kilocalories because we didn't get enough hatches to start the game with. So we kinda got screwed on that front. But get your super sustainable made. Once you finish that, then you can make coal generators. Coal generators will output enough heat to easily keep your Slicksters alive. As you can see, 50 degrees. And they also pump out enough CO2 that you can actually make a little bit of crude oil with them. And then if you end up getting molten Slicksters, then they are technically a self-sustaining system. Because when they hatch, well, when the egg is made, they come out at, I think it was 155? 155 or 145. And then when they hatch, their ambient body temperature will heat up the area around them anyway. Because, yeah, these guys handle from 90 to 250. And livable range is 75 to 270. So, these guys just pop out automatically on fire. Oh, sure. So over here, I have steel. And I've got aluminum here. with a aluminum radiant pipe because it's CO2. If you're working with chlorine instead, this entire thing needs to be radiant. Because chlorine takes so long to cool down anyway, you will want like the whole box to be just radiant piping. Preferably aluminum because of the thermal transfer rate. Do not have aluminum. If you do not have aluminum, use copper. If you do not have copper, use iron. You are running on cobalt. Cobalt also works. So it's like for extreme purposes, aluminum, copper, iron, cobalt, steel, tungsten. Lots of copper? Then use copper. If you need a refinery set up really early, do you have crude oil? Or do you have, do you have crude oil or petroleum, or do you already have Dracos? If you have Dracos, you can make naphtha, if you have access to lava. Not yet? Okay. Yeah, because I'm playing on Radioactive Ocean, I had to kind of go outside the box. Considerably. Thankfully, we got Dracos really early, thank God. Yes! One baby Draco. Okay, good. Good. Then you're set to start this. Very good. That is if you want to go this route. Obviously, if you have access to oil, you don't need to do this. Not in a farm yet. Gotcha. Personal recommendation? You probably want to get your suits the second you get your farm online, because that way you don't exchange resources. Urgent oxygen problems. Okay. How many dupes are you running? Because again, we have our mini Rodriguez. We have our full Rodriguez. And we have we had a micro Rodriguez, now we're up to a mini. Yes, how many dupes are you running right now, Infest? Once we get your oxygen sorted out, then we can do the rest. 5 dupes, 5 tons of algae. I need to build a way to cool steam geyser. Ah, gotcha. 95 degree water steam geyser, or are you dealing with a steam vent? I'm going to have to tame this one shortly anyway. I don't have any steel here, so I can't really do anything with it yet. Okay, so you're dealing with this one. Got it. This one's a little janky to work with. Because again, you need steel. Because you really can't utilize anything but steel on this. And the main reason being is steam is really, really, really energy intensive. When this comes out at 110, you are not cooling this down effectively without it. Already have some steel? Okay, good. Do you have diamond yet? I have diamond here, so I can actually utilize it. If not, there is another solution. So if you have diamonds... No diamonds. Okay. Let's see. You said you have copper, steel. I'm guessing you have iron. So instead of using diamond window tiles, we'll use metal tiles instead. Remove this. I will need 1 steel gas pump. I have just enough. And I will need 1 steel liquid. Sorry, liquid pump. I will need that right there. Then let that run indefinitely. Don't really care what insulated tile I take out of that. Should probably. Do we really need an atmos sensor? Not really. I could just slap it in here in case I ever need to use it for something. I just need to make sure that I can automatically turn it on and off without the dupes needing to come into this room. That's really about it. Power-wise, a lot of extra cable. If you can, personal recommendation, conductive wire right on this tile, and then go up. No. You don't need to worry about the other components. The only thing you need to worry about is steel-wise is the gas pump and the liquid pump. Remove this. Get the dupes down here to fix this. Because these are the only two things that can actually overheat. Everything else would melt. But because the melting temperature is 327, this will only ever come out at 110. So you can I'm using lead in here because you do not need to worry about it. Once my dupes get down here, let me use... I will need to actually collect that diamond over there if I want to utilize it. You can do this without that, but because I'm already doing this, I might as well fully clear this thing. Also, let me measure that out. And ladder the rest of it. All I have is iron, gold, and steel. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're good then. If you have steel and you've got gold, gold would actually work pretty well as well. I do not have gold, so I can't utilize that. But you will want to take a metal tile. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to use an iron door. Iron door. You're going to want to put 2 metal tiles here. A steel liquid pump there. Hydro sensor here. Lots of gold, actually. More than copper? Oh, you're good then. Seriously, gold's great. Because gold! But, yes, in all honesty, definitely use your gold. I would say use gold here instead of steel. But you will need steel for the liquid pump, and you will need steel for the gas pump. Because these are the only two things that can break if they hit over their overheat moving to... Oh, the metal wall? The reason being is you need a temperature transfer medium. I did this in the wrong order. Moment. That and that. Mechanized door there. So this will mediate the temperature between this area and this area. What you do is you take your radiant liquid pipe, and you've got gold. Put 2 there. You want insulated piping, like this. I'll just connect everything. So you can see this whole setup get built. You will definitely want a thermal aqua tuner here. Like this. Tiles. Tile. This completely. So what this does is that you take a thermal sensor and you put it here on this side of the box. The reason being is your goal is to chill this tile, these 2 tiles right here. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was to chill those 2 tiles there. If I could remove the plants, this would be much easier to explain. But what this does is that this makes it so that way you can regulate the exact amount of temperature between this room, this pipe, and this room. And what you do is that when this is going off and turning into steam, once the temperature hits over about, I would say, probably like 30? Well, no. You could probably kick this down to like 24, I would say. Yeah. About 24 degrees. And what this will do is that the chilling effect for this will get pumped into here. These 2 tiles will get frozen into oblivion. And then this will only activate if this room is over like 24 degrees. What that means is when it hits 25 degrees, this door will shut. And because this creates a vacuum, when it's open, nothing temperature transfers. When it shuts, all of the chill in here will get injected into this room. So all the heat will get sapped directly into this and then converted into energy for this thermal aqua tuner. What that does is that this will allow you to instantly start freezing all of the steam in here, pretty much. Obviously, you have to do the good old aqua tuner way, which is usual. This one's actually going to be a little weird how I placed it. Sensor there. Next sensor into the machine. Might actually need to move this back by one. Scoot this over. Put it there. That way I can just... That way I don't need to worry about wiring issues. Slap that there. There. Alright, liquid bridge. Those two. There we go. I need gate. Sensor. There we go. You can actually use this whole thing to chill this as well. So if you really wanted to, you can also just do this. Take that back down. That'll be radiant right there. Connect that to that. Like so. We'll want heavy watt conductive wire. Most likely. Or, yeah, just heavy watt or heavy watt conductive, whatever you've got. Either one of these works, no problem. If you're doing it quick and dirty, just use heavy watt. Not really a big deal. Or you could use conductive wire. Just remember, don't accidentally connect it up to the rest of your base, otherwise you're going to be draining 1,200 watts on this, and it will absolutely hurt everything. I think. So that is 240 and 120 with 1,002. You could do this with only conductive wire. Yeah, screw it. Let's do it with only conductive wire. Just use lead. Just screw it. Let me clear this. Thankfully, if you're only running one of these, it's not that power intensive. I'll just connect those two. Connect you and connect that to that. Okay, cool. Just remember, only 2 power transformers on this grid. Yep. Far away, Enfaust. That open. That open so the tubes can build it. What is the purpose of the gas pump? To initially vent this thing, and also if you need to use the steam for something else. Because again, this also regulates the pressure, so that way this won't overpressure. Technically, I normally set this up so that way I can just vent this to space in case we're not draining enough water. It's literally just a contingency system. Also, if I want to build like an industrial brick, and I want to like move steam into it, I can always use that as well. Or say I wanted to use saunas. That's the easiest way to get steam really, really quickly. That won't like completely crap itself. I've done a couple of these setups before. But that was a long time ago. I normally just set this up as a contingency situation, and then it's just like, we could slap a sauna on top of it. What's the purpose of a sauna? Meh. My dupes like it, that's all I care about. It's not really useful, it's just kind of like, once you vent the thing, you're good. Until then, eh. It gives you an option, and then you also don't need to come back in here ever again. Yeah, this is pretty much the entire setup. This is also dupe capable, which means that my dupes can, because they climb down 2 tiles, they can build all of this in one go. What gate? I use the AND gate. AND gate is pretty much everything. So the AND gate, what it does is it makes it so that way the thermal sensor and the liquid pipe thermal sensor both have to be green before it runs the machine. OR gate means that either one can be active, obviously. Sorry. Yes, for building purposes. Yes. Sorry about that. But yes, I use AND gates for almost everything. Memory toggle is when you want to switch a logic line. And the OR toggle is if you have one or the other that are working. But all of these are always AND gates. But yes, this is also for the YouTube video as well. Whenever you're working with your thermal aqua tuners or you're working with anything that if you need two inputs, such as ambient temperature and pipe temperature, it's always going to be an AND gate. Next to a steam vent, by the way. That is lucky as hell. I think we had that in the what was it? The Absolute Zero playthrough. We had a slush geyser right on top of a steam geyser right underneath a salt slush geyser. Like straight center of the map all the way up, and it was just one, then the other, and then one up in space over on the right. And it was nuts. That was the only thing that saved my ass in that playthrough, because Absolute Zero playthrough was the worst thing I've ever done in this game. That was the hardest playthrough I've ever seen. When you're 3 cycles into the game and your oxygen's freezing into liquid form on you, that's when you panic. Also, let me cancel this because I do need to make that out of steel. So everything else, I'm going to put diamond here, diamond here. But if you don't have diamond, you can utilize metal tiles. And as I said before, it would be aluminum, gold, copper, iron, tungsten, steel. I don't remember what depleted uranium gets you, if you have it. But I don't think it's going to tell me if I go and look at it, if I remember right. Yeah, if you got gold, use gold. Gold's fantastic. If you don't have diamond, of course. Yeah, gold's thermal conductivity is 60. Copper was 60 as well, but gold can handle more temperature than that. Not for melting points, but for machinery. Iron was 50? Yeah, 55. Steel was less or more? It was 54, yeah, less. Thermium's insane at 220. But obviously we don't have that, so we're pretty much stuck with aluminum or the... What's the depleted uranium again? 20. Yep, it's on the bottom. Cobalt was 100. Okay, yeah, if you got cobalt, use that. Ever seen that one? Ah, yep. I've had a little bit of it. I have a tiny, tiny amount of it over here. This is blue material. On the when you throw up the material overlay, it'll be this one little blue dot, like in blobs. Oh, the thermium thing. Ah, gotcha. Thermium requires niobium, and it's processed in the molecular forge. And in base game, it's space material. Get me the diamond dupes. And just don't care about uprooting it, just dig. It'll automatically get uprooted. Also, yes, if you're going to uproot plants, don't trigger an uproot order, just dig up the tile, something like this. Because they'll try to uproot first, then dig up the tile, and it does the same. It's not worth it. It's literally just waste your duplicate's time. And that's for everyone watching. But yes, I find it really annoying that the game does that sometimes. No? Oops, why? Yes. Okay, for this, I'm going to set it for 450 above. I did say negative 114 for a second, didn't it? Okay. I'll just set this for... Let's set it for 25. That's weird, though. It's like, wait, what? 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 Not hallucinating, I just saw negative 114 for a second, then the game lagged and it finally went back to normal. Set up for above 200, 25. This I will eventually set for 0 for a little while to vent the whole thing, and then we'll kick it up to about like 2K. Set at 1,800. Yeah. At that rate, so that way we don't get overpressured. But for now, it's not active. Construction-wise, I am going to build framework first. Take that first. Because it's just a slickster. He was over here and he got stuck. There's also I don't understand how this happened. This long-haired slickster, by the way, is in Abyssalite. He's not actually in the water. Well, technically the crude oil, but yeah, he's just hanging out. And he's spawned inside the Abyssalite. I don't know how that happened. I'm just kind of like, how... Yeah, I was like, how did I'm so confused. I don't... How did you pull this off, Mr. Slickster? How? I'm super confused. Doesn't make any sense. Well, he broke the laws of physics. I just need to reach that. Bad. I'm in the wall. Yeah. And sometimes I get them caught when I'm building, but I've never seen him like this, where he just automatically spawned in the floor. Like, okay, dude. Which one of you entrapped him? And then it's just, no, he just spawned like that. Oh. Okay. Sure, game. Sure. Anyone else injured because of the bees? I think we're good. I can probably let Commander and Drunk Dev back in. I think. I'm gonna keep the top one locked off, but I think we'll be okay there. Happens with uneven walls, yeah. It's just weird how they can spawn in and do that. The game automatic, like, when the map is generated, the Slickster is gonna spawn there no matter what. And if there's something there, then they just get stuck. It is a bit weird on that front. So, the young glossy Draco around. 7. Yo. Is there anyone? You don't need a refill of ranks. You guys do at some point. Need them to build this first. Once all that's put in, then I can do the rest. Gotcha, in post. Go, duplicates, go! Good. Oops. Can you dig that? I think you can. No, you can't. How's our food situation? 150,000 calories. 45% stale. Someone grabs the meal and just stands there. It's because they're trying to get out because of the suits refilling. You repaired one of the other suits yet? Not look like it. Let me cover that. I'll come back. Dude, don't leave the mind. Brown, did you actually get calories in you? You did. You just left food on the ground. Now this is almost all completed for all the hard and painful process. All that's left is the slap in the thermal aqua tuners and the other steam turbine. Is it for electrolyzer room, please? Sure. Do you want the big one or do you want the small one? They're pretty much the exact same. So hydrogen I have at 600. The oxygen is at 900. Small one? Gotcha. So for propellant, running 600 and 900. This one is just one long strip, and this could be upscaled. Same as over here on propellant. Same exact setup. Can easily be upscaled, no problem. So this turns into this, as you can see. The small one is just about this much. And then when you upscale it, you go that way and that way. Gotcha. Yeah, I run 600, 900. You can run 450 and 850 as well. For the smaller one, if you're getting too much hydrogen. Also, for the automation of batteries, I keep all of this on one network, and then I have an excess burn-off network down here. For hydrogen purposes, you will get massive overflow, especially when you start upgrading into the big. So you will definitely want to set up a overflow burn-off for the rest of the. You will notice that I have my two power grids actually separated. So this grid has a wheel which controls the hydrogen pump, and that's all connected. You don't need this, obviously. This is for dumping your This is my original setup that I was using to make a bunch of extra waste. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, this one's the good old Rodriguez. There's multiple ways you could make this. Obviously, you can put whatever tiles that you want. Doesn't really matter. The thing you gotta pay attention to is the heat that is output through the doorways. That's really about it. This is as compacted as I can possibly make this because this map is tiny. So I've done my best to keep everything nice and stuck. Ah, with the gotcha. Yeah. You can set up a bridge. Like if you have the space, what you do is you put the hydrogen boxes directly on top of this, and then you use radiant gas pipes to inject heat from all of the hydrogen and from the generators, and just inject that heat into the actual hydrogen generators. and it will self-cool itself. The only issue is that you want to make it out of gold amalgam, not out of copper or aluminum. And the reason being is that the hydrogen generators will hit around 85 degrees. But that's all completely self-contained. Obviously, because I'm playing in the Spaced Out DLC, and I'm like just building as best I can on the surface of worlds, and then digging in, most of my basic Splodum setups are just like this. Technically speaking, with 2 of these, this is more than enough hydrogen that I shouldn't be needing to really be running this like this, but I've mostly just been spam running it anyway. Because technically what I should be doing is I should connect this to that. And then once that's done, this will be set at 95 and 15. So this will only run when this battery hits 15, so 15% energy, and then the high threshold this will stop when it hits 95. Now the only issue with this, obviously, is if you're not burning enough hydrogen, then this will back up. But that's why you build tanks and all the other stuff. Or you just go big, and then you don't have to worry about it as much. Yes, I am also running one over here, which is using a oxygen crusher, so to speak. Like excessive hydrogen fills gas tank, it starts going off to the second pipe and extra generator activates. Yes, exactly. So I've got this over here for the tank. This battery is connected to a transformer that is directly connected to my base. So as a main power grid line, I'm utilizing this one as excess burn off, and also as this line as well. So this is about 2,000 watts worth of excess energy. I've also got my metal refinery plugged into it directly. Also, once you get plastic, you can end up making a steam turbine, and all of your metal refinery problems will pretty much be solved at that point. Because this is really all you need. Put a little water in here. About like, what, 40 kilo? Yeah, about 40 kilograms per tile, roughly. Not, I mean, you can add in more. You'll get more thermal mass, which means it'll take longer for the steam to actually heat up. Which means that you'll actually get more temperature transfer out of it. But it's super simple. You can do that per each of these. The other thing is obviously you don't have aluminum, so you would need to double the size of this. Oh, how it works? Okay. Okay, so for this one, for a metal refinery, this is all it is. There is no automation other than power, and that's not technically part of the grid. Power-wise, it's one heavy watt wire that goes straight into its own independent heavy watt like grid, which this is the excess power grid, so I don't really have to worry about it. But the material-wise, seeing you don't have aluminum, you would need to double this. So, actually, no, you would need to quadruple this. Sorry. Because, again, you're running with gold and iron. I would probably use iron for this, just because of the temperatures involved. What's gold melting point in here? Forget. Like this could easily get up to 400. Oh, 1,000. Okay, yeah, no, you can totally use gold. But you would need to do 4 times the size. So with gold specifically, I would almost say do it in the opposite direction. I'm going to set this to 1. I'll just use mafic rock for like visual purposes. Something like this. Radiant pipe wise, I'll just use cobalt because screw it. And then steam turbine on top. Probably two, because you can actually pump more stuff in here. Dupes. Do not build this. God damn it, Dupes. I knew you were going to come over here even though they're at 1. I knew you were. Dupes. There. Not allowed over here while I'm doing a demonstration. Okay. Now. Head back to Maffic. Or all. Like, yeah, screw it. You can just keep expanding the steam turbines as you need it. So, I'll just make this tileable. I don't have to worry about it. Pipe-wise, we use cobalt as a representative material. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, pretty much like that. Insulated tile. How much water do you need? As I said, about 40 kilograms per tile. So, if you're going to make a tube like this and just keep going that way for an industrial work, for each block, you're looking at 20 tiles by 40 kilograms. About 800. Wow. Oh yeah. What do you put? Yep, it's about 40 per block. You can go higher than that. So, technically speaking... Hey, Sandwraith. Infos is asking how to build a quick and dirty metal refinery industrial blocks. So, seeing he doesn't have aluminum. So, that means he can't utilize the absolutely absurdity of 410 thermal conductivity. But he does have gold. So, I'm going to just be using cobalt as a facsimile for it. Primo Gym Factory, exactly. Hey, Crazy, welcome back. We'll do that. Also, welcome back, Sand. Where's refinement? Metal refineries are about 4 tall. Slap them in like this. You'd be set up pretty much like that. And the issue is you do need to find a spot where you can put in patient. Alright, what? Who right now is starving? What's wrong with you, Dupes? Come on. I could just do something like this. Except for that, so we have space. And you could just tile it like this. So this one would just keep going that way, and you can just keep making them. Wait, liquid coolant inside the metal refinery? Oh, that's naphtha. If you melt plastic, you end up getting naphtha. Which, if you go based on the material overlay, it turns into this really nice purple. This was the stuff that was viscogel before viscogel was actually put into the game. Yeah, once you get plastic, you can make it. The reason being is once you've gotten plastic, so once you get a glossy Dreco going, and you actually get some plastic, where's it? Utilities? Is a temperature shift plate. It'll give you 800 kilograms of plastic. Find the closest lava source and slap it down. Why naphtha as a coolant? It's a really effective coolant. It's also really cheap and easy to utilize. Exactly. I mean, it took me about 200 cycles to really get there because we had to get everything else done. And then thankfully we ended up getting glossy Drekos earlier than that. But then we had to actually let them grow up so we can get all of our plastic for it. But yes, because we don't have oil here, and our closest oil is not on our teleport planet, we had to improvise. And the thing that we used to improvise was naphtha. What can you use instead? Crude oil, petroleum, preferably petroleum, because petroleum won't immediately explode in your face. Let me come on over to it. Also, unpause. But petroleum won't turn into sour gas until 538.9. Do not have any of that. Do you have a cold biome? Because if you've seen the other episodes, we used polluted water. our early setup was polluted water as a coolant, which means that you could not turn any of these on to permanent, and you had to use these like one at a time every cycle. So you could only really get a little bit of processed every so often. Yes, I have used a lot of polluted water for this. Until obviously we got to the point where we could get plastic to make naphtha. Because yeah, I mean we just landed here, so it's only been a little bit. Also muckroot, I am 100% going to get that. Yep, we're taking that. Using toilet water for firing. It works. It does work. It's insane. Because the thing is that the amount of energy that is output by one instance of steel is enough to go from -3 degree polluted water to 92 degrees. For the amount of water that is actually consumed in the process of, or well, transferred in the process, not consumed. But yes. Like, cool, I can only make one thing of steel every single cycle. Because then I had to cool it down the rest of the way. Oh, I see the bees have finally removed the uranium underneath the automatic dispenser. Good job, bees. But yes. Infaust, if you need to, screenshot this real quick. I can wait. But yes, this is roughly about the size of what you would need for a gold refined radiant pipes. But you can use polluted water. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. The pipes will explode, but thankfully they will explode on the output pipe. So this pipe right here will always explode because the temperature of the liquids inside the machine are not affected by state change. When they leave is when it will become affected, and then this pipe will just blow up all the damn time. Gotcha. If you need to, I'll just add a stream marker. Let me clean all that up. Yeah, that should be enough for a gold pipe, specifically. If you can get your hands on aluminum, this is all you need. Because, yeah, 400 conductivity is, so good. Aluminum's fantastic. Okay. Let's see here. Setting up my arbor trees to convert to polluted dirt to feed to breed my poke shells, from poke shells to make more lime. Gotcha. And for me, if you're working with naturally planted ones to reduce the amount of polluted water that you're burning, obviously, standard rule of pip applies. Top right corner to bottom left corner, and do the strips top to bottom if you're doing natural planting. If you're not doing natural planting, you don't need to worry about it. Also, if you are trying to make enough polluted dirt using ethanol distillers, remember that this only makes 500 grams per second. And it takes 10 kilograms to fill a pipe. Yeah. Ethanol distillers are pretty kind of terrible. They make a crap load of polluted dirt, though, which is what you're going for. But, yeah, they need a lot of space. As if you're going to use the ethanol for something, which I would assume you're probably going to burn it. Natural tiles? To make natural tiles without a mod... Oh, I already did that earlier, but... let me do it on Talon, because I actually do need to make one, I think. Maybe here in the future. Why is there... Oops. Don't do that. I just look at it and I see this sitting here. Dumb dupes. Okay. So, natural tile. Need to build a little U shape like this. Take your manual airlock. You will probably want to make it out of copper. Unless you've got gold. Or, sorry, gold amalgam. And this will make a copper tile that is 200 kilograms worth of mass directly on this tile ray. Reason being is that when you deconstruct this door, the game cannot calculate where the material should go. So the copper ore tries to squeeze itself out of these corners. When it cannot do that, what happens is that it will instantaneously form into a 200 kilogram natural tile. So the game tries to calculate these two tiles first, these two tiles second. If it can't go underneath, then it goes for the corner. And when that can't occur, the natural tile will form directly in the center. Now mind you, you can do that out of any material that you can make a manual airlock door out of. Do not use uranium, because uranium obviously is indestructible on the hardness scale. Yeah, nearly impenetrable at 150. The reason that you normally want to use copper is because it's readily available and cheap resource. Which is funny. But yeah. Why is that? What? It's still displaying uranium ore. That was weird. I had copper selected and it was still displaying uranium ore. Huh. But yes, copper will give you a firm, which is 25. Pips can plant in that. Also, remember that you will want to build backwards. So, if you're working with pips, put ladders on each and every tile that you don't want plants put on. And then as you slowly work your way back, like right now I'm just waiting on another arbor acorn seed, and then they will plant right here. Eventually I will probably add some more natural tiles down here. These trees are only 3 tall. I could put one technically right there. And build them back. But yeah, that's how they work. That's also how the natural tiles work. You can see where I was actually originally placing them. Yes, if you end up getting a really bad natural tile placement, or like, say you get like a strip of just garbage, like granite, very firm, pips can't plant in this. So you'll have to make natural tiles as you go. The other way is that you cook algae. Like, this is the one that makes it so that way the game just will automatically generate it, and you don't have to worry about it, but obviously you're wasting copper for it. The other one is that you will make algae, and if you cook algae on a tile, when it hits 125, it will turn into dirt. So, once that turns into dirt, obviously don't cook it up to 326.9, because then it will turn to sand, and, yeah, not good. Yes, I've done a couple dirt cooking setups for Sleet Wheat, and I absolutely hate it. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've done, I think, 5 Sleet Wheat farms with algae cooking over the entirety, like over the entire course of playing Oxygen Not Included. I have hated every single one of them, and it's also why one of the reasons of why I used to use the natural tile mod. It was because cooking algae that many times, you want to tear your hair out. Exactly. Well, you have steel, so you can technically do that. If you seeing you've got steel, that means you can run up to 325 degrees. Because that is the upper limit of a thermal aqua tanner, which means you can generate steam that's 325 degrees. That's also why over here on Butelin, as I was saying earlier with the steam, there it is. These 275 and 275. Is Wild Tree with pit producing air current? Yes, they do. I only had one tree working for the first like 80 cycles. So we only had one seed to work with to begin with on this entire planet, which sucked. And I originally had, I think it was this one and this one. And then we got that one and that one, and then I was able to put another one down because of distance. And then obviously we've been slowly building them up this way. This is all of our trees from the very beginning, right here. Yes, they're definitely annoying. When you don't have many to start with, it's definitely a pain in the butt to get more arbor acorn trees, for sure. So... Oh, that could have been a mistake. I was like, wait a minute, I see angry bookshelves. Save. Slowly also reheating up the solid nuclear waste that is produced with the death of the bees. So pretty much everything down here is -30, down here is -55. Yeah, any excess nuclear waste gets reheated and will get reprocessed into the nuclear waste dump. Well, the U-tile, then building copper door and deconstructing it generates copper tiles. Yes, that is correct. Because the game will try to place the tile. So when this gets destroyed, because it's a door, the game calculates that it wants to place it on these two tiles, then the corners, and then the bottom. If all of those are currently occupied, it forms a natural tile. Because the door is 200 kilograms, that's what you'll get. Every one of these is a door. Obviously, if you need to pick this up, you will lose 100 kilograms, because when your dupes dig, they dig at a 50% rate. So what'll happen is that if you do fuck up your natural tile, yeah, it's like, don't mess that one up first time. Just do yourself a favor. Don't make that mistake. That would be bad. 29. Bring me that one. Any way to dig it without losing any? There is not. Technically, you could crush it with water, but I wouldn't trust it. Also, you're producing way too much water as per usual. We're already up to the... We're already up to there. I need this water tank done. Bees, clean up the uranium. Hurry it up. Faster, bees, faster. You're stealing one of my things so I will not use my limited metal ores? Yes. Oh, food is decayed where? Oh. Yeah, food's gonna keep decaying over. High stress spoon. You at? Spoon. Powered washroom. Why did you not eat the grid hall? What are you doing? Oop. You have a great hall. Why did you not use it? I see that you ate. But why? Get over here. Everyone else has been eating at the Great Hall, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Great Hall +6. Dupe! Why do you do this to me every time? One of you always does this. Get in the base. Sleep only. Go get food. I know. It's because of stress. Come on, wait. Oh my gosh, you're only gonna build that? Okay, no, you're not. Good. Dumb duplicates. Okay, good. Get in here. Thank you. My dupe's being very stupid at this point. Where are we at food-wise? 41%. Okay, I am going to slap the stash table down one more time. And clean up Spoon here because they're being kind of dumb. And then take care of the rest. Now I do it with narcolepsy as swordback or whatever it's called. Makes it best. Swordback only reduces athleticism and it doesn't really do like stress damage. It does slow your dupe down. Oxygen electrolyzers, rather. For cooling purposes, at least for the main base, I am absolutely freezing this place. Because I've been using the energy from that as well as from the bees to heat up this box. But for other locations, like the Palin, it's pretty much just gonna be kind of meh. Yeah, the electrolyzer's oxygen itself, like for this mini one, it barely heats up that much. Like this will take forever for that to heat up because I don't have that many dupes here. For this one, don't really need to care that much again for a while, but I will eventually cool it down with a full base liquid loop. Which is just this kind of setup. For the actual main base, we're running a large polluted water cooling loop, which is this line right here. Goes up and around. And that's cooling, that's maintaining the standard temperatures for the base. But for this thing, I have so overcooled it, it's not even funny. Mostly because I wanted to sap the energy from it. So, this is overkill. I don't recommend doing something like this unless you know exactly what you're wanting to do or you're wanting to keep bees like at an actual reasonable temperature. While also generating fuel for your steam rocket. Like that, this is so much overkill, it's not even funny. But for standard temperature wise, don't really need to care that much about the hydrogen, it'll just get deleted. Or the oxygen, polluted water to a thermal aqua tuner. A standard variety setup with 23 degrees here, 220 there, steel. Pretty much does the job. Too much happening for my brain to comprehend. Okay. Polluted liquid cooling loop. Set to 23 degrees for the entire base. 1 steel thermal aqua tuner. 23 in the pipe. 220 for the steam turbines. Setup. Boom, done. Extremely simple. Not really overkill. What I'm doing with my ethanol is overkill. So don't look at the ethanol line. Like, look at the brown, dirty water. Don't look at the giant turquoise green, like, cooling loop of doom. Also, I need to really take care of my dupe. My dupe is being brain dead. Do not idle in the rocket, sir. I see you doing this. Journal, interested thing. Grizzly meal. They should be okay. Why are they missing? Gotcha, Infast. Yes, just understand very basic rudimentary cooling loops. Just flat polluted water into things, put it around your base. Well, put it on around wherever your plants are and your living quarters. And you'll be good. Almost capped. I need to kill weekly bosses. How have you not killed your weekly bosses yet? Oh no! Go, Infest, go! I'm serious, go! Yeah. I was gonna say, Infest is EU, so... Go, buddy, go! Exactly. That's why I like, go get that done. It just reset. That reset from like what, 9 hours ago? Go, you fool. Sandwraith, your early game and forest starting planet, use yeah, I use the Oxyferns. Oxyferns are fantastic. Oxyferns are actually slightly more efficient than the electrolyzer setups. Which is weird, but yeah. As long as you have dirt, they're slightly more efficient. That's the only thing weird about Oxyferns as a whole. Because yeah, they actually consume CO2 while emitting oxygen. They take water and dirt. But the amount of water and dirt that is produced on a forest biome from pips, you can pretty much write that off as a cost automatically. But the main thing is that the amount of water consumed to the amount of water produced, or sorry, the amount of oxygen produced, is more than an electrolyzer does. Yes, Oxyferns need water. They need 19 kilograms per cycle, and also 4 kilograms worth of dirt per cycle. And they emit 31.3 grams per second, which a cycle is, if I remember right, 60 seconds on, based on game calculation. Yes, it's, if I remember right, the Oxyfern is 1.06% more efficient with water consumption than a electrolyzer. It's tiny. It's a tiny amount, but it is slightly more efficient. The only thing is that an Oxyfern does not produce hydrogen. So you cannot repurpose hydrogen for other things. But for oxygen production, it is slightly more efficient. That is because it uses dirt. Which, yeah, it's a little weird like that. But it's like 0.6% more efficient. Like, just a tiny little bit. Not to mention, I wish I had one, exactly. This is where I'd put my Oxyfern, if I had one. Yes, I always rush electrolyzers no matter what playthrough I'm playing. Just because they're technically self-powering. Once you reach this status, they're completely self-powering. This is producing more power than even like anything else I could run, pretty much. Like one full-scale 4 electrolyzer setup Spottum is capable of handling, I think it's 1.28 kilowatts excess power. So for all of this, including the water pump, this is also powering. The excess is 1.28 kilowatts. So if I, like right now I'm technically offshooting about 2 kilowatts. Obviously this is completely offset by the solar panels. But this will slowly burn out of hydrogen if I didn't have other sources of power. Just because I'm running 2 power transformers. But if you're just running 1, then you have an excess of about 200. I just immediately rush it because I don't. The amount of heat generated by this is not. It's negligible. So I normally just kind of ignore it. Yes, it's amazing to have lots of water. Any playthrough where I get this much freaking water is just like, oh yes, we have struck gold. Mission successful. Problem in the DLC maps, they're tiny, number one. So building large water tanks take up like a third of a map normally. And the other problem is transporting that water to other planets, which is why the interplanetary launchers, aka the railguns, are extremely important. Yes, water is the pure backbone of every single oxygen not included base, as well as the amount of water that you generate determines the size of which you can build the base. So how much water you can generate per cycle, even with dormancy period, will determine how many dupes you can actually house safely. Right now, I am pretty sure I have enough water that I could probably push like 50 dupes on this planet alone. Mind you, my game will probably start chugging around 60 with all the dupes running around. But I could really push this if I wanted to. We have enough water. I'd have to math it out exactly, but using recycling methods and everything else, I'm pretty sure we could probably handle about 50 duplicates. And yeah, solar panels are really good. They're not a mainstay for your power grid, but they're definitely the I need power and I need it all the time. I will just slap this down. And then when you build mini bases everywhere, always start with solar. Because it cuts down on the amount of duplicate power requirements that are needed, and then you're good. And then, yeah, as I said, like over here, notice our hydrogen's starting to back up again. Here, let's run this. Yes, solar is key to planetary exploration and colonization. It makes planets livable. Well, yes, I mean, solar panels were fantastic even before. Technically, in base game, even with the comments, the solar panels are like the end-all, be-all in base game. Because of how much material, like, you go from solar panels, once you get them, and you get them set up, to a petroleum boiler, which is your other source of power. And then once you've finished that, then you take that petroleum, you cook it off into sour gas, and you make a sour gas boiler. And when you've made a sour gas boiler, you officially have reached the end point of infinite energy, and now you can do anything that you want. Because if you take petroleum and you turn it into sour gas and then reconvert it back into methane and then into natural gas, you are making hundreds of kilograms of pure, unadulterated energy. Petrol generators can eat ethanol, yes. Yeah, petroleum generators burn down both petroleum and ethanol as its alternative source. Also, remember that if you do a natural gas generator, the natural gas geysers, the natural ones, you can, on average, only run about 4. Just because the amount that they actually produce is quite poor. Like, I do need to tap into this one. Excuse me. But yes. And this one only puts out 299 grams per second. And that consumes 90 grams per second. So I can only run 4. And the 4th one will barely run at all. But say if I boil petroleum, every 10 kilograms of boiled petroleum will turn into 10 kilograms of natural gas. That's why that thing is dumb. Very, very, very dumb. They're glorious, but they're absolutely stupid. I love them. We have ice melt? Looks like ice melt to me. Temperatures. Yep, that's ice melt. Crap. From where? The gas storage, infinite liquid storage? Okay. I mean, I'm technically using an actual oxygen crusher over here to force up the pressures. Technically, I could just let that run indefinitely and it would just keep going, but... eh. Well, yes, but where are you generating all of that? Like that's the bigger question. Oh boy. Oops, mop. Yes, even with it, like, you know, infinite gas storage setups, with natural gas, you still got to produce it. And natural gas production is quite crude. At least in mass, until you get to a sour gas boiler. Because the only other thing that you can really utilize is the fertilizers. But again, it only produces 10 grams of natural gas per second. So even though you can, you know, hyper compress natural gas no problem, you gotta actually produce it. Oh, so you're saying that you've built up a large stockpile of natural gas from your gas geyser. That's what you mean. I'm talking about like actually producing it in mass. Like natural gas is the end all be all of power generation and oxygen not included. But it's from producing petroleum and then boiling it into sour gas and then freezing it to create natural gas. During that process, you end up with hundreds of thousands of kilograms of natural gas, which is what you would then throw into a massive sour gas, natural gas setup. Which is, yeah, like one, what was it? It's one petroleum boiler with like 4 inputs running at full tilt. If I remember right, I think it's enough gas to fill 80 natural gas generators. I think it was 80 or was it 120? Which, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, the sheer amount of energy that you are producing when you do that is stupid. I mean, and 100 of these things. That... it's 80. It's literally 8 gigawatts of power. Actually, no. Is it? Add 2 zeros. Yeah, it's 8 gigawatts of power. Or sorry, 8,000 kilowatts. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think my math in my head's right. I'm trying to remember. I'm just thinking of how much oomph that is. It's ridiculous. I don't think it's 8 gig. What? 10,000? Oh. Fuck. Come on, brain. Moment. I'm just gonna freaking calculate this. It's 80,000 watts, which is it's 80 kilowatts. Yeah. And that's per thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's kilowatts, but I can't remember. It would be kilowatts, megawatts, and then gigawatts. I think we have a new dupe. I do need a third dupe. And having exosuit training as a rocketry pilot is huge. Downside, it would be better if he was a mechatronics engineer or a husbandry. And the reason being is I still have to get the rocketry skill tree, so that means that those skill points for the exosuit training is kind of worthless. I mean, it's still 3 points that I can cut off of it. I think we're going to take Gene. Also, let's see. My steam turbine and solar panels are working. My natural gas and hydrogen is piling up. Well, my hydrogen generator and natural gas generator is nearby. Yeah, that is to be expected. The only issue, as I said, is that the natural gas geyser itself barely puts out that much natural gas. Even if you hyper compress it, if you take the entire amount of natural gas and run it through your system, it won't really last that long as a whole. Because we're talking grams per second. Like 300 grams per second is the average for a natural gas geyser. That is tiny. If you take petroleum, you're talking kilograms, which is 1,000 of that. Which is why it's dumb. It's glorious. It's stupid amounts of power. It lets you do very dumb construction ideas. It lets you technically make a regolith boiler, or even a neutronium, or not neutronium boiler, but a niobium boiler, or a tungsten processor, which that needs a shitload of power. Totally reasonable when you get to that point. But yes, let me grab Gene. And I will be taking Gene as Gene, because I've been waiting for a Gene to actually show up that was worth a damn. Make sure I am on the main base. Gene, welcome back, bud. Also, congratulations on your rocketry upgrade. Last time I had you as an artist, 3 times now. This rock. I want to harvest igneous rock that is surrounded in my niobium volcano. We'll be taming the niobium volcano. You need to cool it down. But yes, we will be taking Gene straight out of the gate. Give me 1 second, and I can show you how to do that. Also, I need to go check Alan real quick. How's my stresses? 7%. Boom was having a horrible time in here, but I'll make do. Okay, let's see here. Gene, that hot. And you get the chair right under the light bulb, which is actually, for some reason, dupes really like that. So, good for you. Congratulations. Priorities. You are a rocket dupe, 100%. I am going to also give you cooking. 18.3 with Protopoly. There you go. And skill-wise, you have the exosuit training hat. Give you that for now. And you want rocket piloting. As I said, the only thing this cuts off is if I don't want this one, but we always get this anyway. Because the improved carrying gives them extra strength, which means that they can carry more materials, and thus they function better. The only thing this cuts off is the 3 points for the exosuit training, which is actually quite nice. That is not a bad thing under any circumstance. I would have preferred to get a rocketry pilot or a Critter Rancher 2 with rocketry as the primary source. But for now, I am going to give him cooking. The reason being is that I do want to get this dupe to be able to actually cook in transit. Now, we're dealing with lava. Number 1, you will need diamond. If you do not have diamond, I would not recommend touching it. Yes, exactly. You are going to need diamond. 100, and what you just asked is what I'm going to have to do over here on Flippallen. And the reason that I'm going to do this on Flippallen is my biggest food maker in the entire game is currently buried under all of this. Not touching volcano, got it. You can touch a volcano beforehand if you want to do geopower and you have enough water that you can easily handle it with steel. So, if you've got steel, you've got a crap load of water to dump into the volcano, and you've got enough room for 2 to 3 steam turbines, you can easily deal with a volcano. You can't deal with this with the same method. This is what we're talking about when he was saying that he's surrounded by lava. Because this is what this planet, like, this is what you will see on a magma planet. And in your actual volcano that you want is right here. Yes. You have diamond. Good. Now, here comes the problem. You need to build a injector. And the way that you build an injector is obsidian and diamond. For this over here, for me specifically, I'm coming in from below. I'm assuming you're doing it on the magma planet, which means you would have to do it from above. Being my dupes can't reach up here, I will just do it from up here. I will need obsidian. Similarly, actually, make it 3 tiles. We'll need the range for it. So, take your count from wherever your insertion point is for magma. You will need to draw a line that is 8 tiles long, because this is the range of the magma blade. Magma does not move farther than 8 tiles under its own mark. Once you find your 8 tile mark, you do it like that. The reason being is the magma, when I dig in from above, so like this, I will let the magma fall in and then form its blade. When the blade is formed, I will have steel, if I have it. You're going to be pouring all of your water directly onto the lava blade. We're also going to want to put probably maybe 4 to 5 steam turbines. And if you also have the power for it, then you'll probably slap a thermal aqua tuner on the farthest corner of this thing. And then all of the water that your steam turbines are picking up, I think, if I remember right, 5 is the limit for a 3 tall setup. This is technically 2 because of that, but it still works by 3. So probably 5 of these. The 5th one barely will get any steam, but the rest of them will get all of it. You would put 1 steam turbine, 5, right there, 1 right there, 1 right there, 1 right there, and then 1 last one over here as the excess. All of the water will be dumped directly onto the blade. The temperature transfer will be occurring pretty much from, like, right here. So then what will happen is as you are sucking out all of the energy from the magma, all of this will start turning into regular, just igneous rock. And all of the magma will continue to fall in and cool down, and it will just continue to loop until you start seeing all of this start to turn into igneous rock, and the temperature will start falling. The minimum temperature that you will actually hit is 125, because that is the absolute minimum limit of a steam turbine. Because once you hit 124 in steam, the steam turbines stop actually sucking up steam. So that's where you will be sitting. All of the rock that will be eventually formed in here will cascade as it cools down, and you will just see like all of this pretty much just immediately turn into igneous rock. But just remember, this is kind of your limit. Also, all of this needs to be steel, all of this needs to be obsidian, otherwise it will melt. Period. Entry point would probably be back here for your dupes. And I would probably liquid lock back here, or if you're dealing within space, then just leave it as a vacuum. I would probably liquid lock this. But just remember, all your cooling will be over here. So you'll be sucking up all the steam from as it passes this way. If you need to, you can increase this to 4, just to give better actual transit for the gases. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, same spot for the lava protection blade. And you just pour all your water directly on top of it. And that's what we mean when we say injector. The only reason that we want the diamond is because we're going to use... once this starts solidifying and getting down to where it's not going to scald your dupes and your suits, you take your temperature ship plates and you alternate them. So the lava blade will eventually stop, and then once it does, then you can start alternating them like this. And this is why I say you need a lot of diamond. And these temperature ship plates can handle, if I remember correctly, pretty much all of that. They will start draining all of the energy and then transferring it back to their coldest temperature ship plate, which will be over here. So all of this will start draining the energy from this much tile space. This goes really quickly once you actually get this built. It's a pain in the ass to build it, but once you build it, it's just an injector for chill, and then you just kick all the temperature down to 125. And that should handle the entire thing. I have to do it from below, which is why I cleaned out this area specifically. I have to build my injector right here. No problem. Yeah, just remember, don't make it out of material that will melt. Obsidian and steel, and then diamonds. Lots and lots of diamond. Also, you won't really be able to remove the diamond ship plates until the entire area has been cleaned. Because you need the diamond temperature ship plates to go back. Sulfur is an extremely good food source. Because what you do is you take the liquid sulfur, you cool it down to 115.2, you then cool this down again to a reasonable temperature, and then you just set up these guys. Because grubs make a stupid amount of food. Like, I've naturally planted these ones, but I would prefer to be running these at full tilt inside of other stuff, because the other thing that you can use them for is these little guys. The reason being is, scroll on down to it, they did this. The grub fruit, for some weird reason, at 700 kilocalories per cycle per stage hatch, gives you 2.8 kilograms of coal. Because coal is now usable in creating diamond, using the diamond presses. These guys actually have a use now. Also, grub fruit is extremely energy intensive. Like, that is insane. Like, yeah, sure, you only get 2.4 kilograms per cycle, but dirt is 1-to-1. That is way over 1-to-1. It's actually good now, yeah. Dupes. How did you guys run out of power? What? At 100 kilojoules. We're making more than enough power at the moment. Must have checked, unless... Oh no. I guess they burn the one's been burning the thing the entire time, I'm guessing. I'll have to use my minerals for the hatches. Yeah, no problem. What's my food at right now? 37%. I think we should begin the trek home. The thing is that you can do that. Do we have any suits outside right now? 2 worn Atmos suits and nothing to give it. These guys haven't grown up yet. That'll be fine. We have the food to get back. That's what matters. Let me disable this. Exactly. Just remember that you need the other ones to handle it. Okay. Spoon. Get your damn suit. Then I need Vern. Vern, where are you? Vern, go. And Protopoly. Yep. That rebuilt. Okay, there we go. Through. Change location. Pick the base. I need them back on platform 261. And you're in here. What are you doing? And also... Alright. Make it back in. Brian, put your suit on. Thank you. What are you doing? Put your goddamn suit on. Thank you. Okay. Knowledge warnings. And launch sequence. Off they go. Yep. Yeah, we need to land on rocket platform 511 from now on. Yep. It takes some serious damage for a little bit. Yeah, it'll be fine. I knew that was going to happen, so I was just like, whatever. Dude, you get to have the shitty time of this? No. Everybody up there. Actually, Spoon, unequip that and deliver the suit. Deal with the rest of it. I've been dry ranching my stone hatches for a while now. I was still technically feeding them, but I was running only at 250 kilograms just to keep them alive. As you can see, they're gonna definitely start starving here. Good news, we have lots and lots of eggs. I could kick this down to like 5 kilograms and that would keep them alive. Yeah, screw it. Let's do that. I'm not gonna like me for it, but well. As long as they eat, they lose their starving debuff. So even if they eat a tiny amount, it will just immediately go away. Okay, food is now full. Spoon, get your suit on. Yes, I know you're gonna have a horrible time. Yep. Solar panel destroyed. Damn it. Oh well. As I said, we'll be landing on rocket platform 511 from now on. We will not be using 118, 188. One is slightly below the threshold. This one is safe. Yeah, it took some minor damage from the steam launch, but nothing I could do about that. I need to take 2,400 kilograms of steel back. Get those two aquatune. Yeah, get those two down. And then I also need to put one over here. So technically I need, what, 3,600? Yeah, I need 3,600 kilograms of steel. I'm going to have to ship over. I feel bad that I have to do this, but we're going to have to do follow cam to support Spoon here. I even gave them a fresh suit. Mostly because they kept refusing to eat from the Great Hall, and they had their bed there. Which is infuriating. They had everything there. It was infuriating, so it's like, you had one job. To use the morale that you had. Why did you refuse? Oh, ceramic for insulated tiles? Insulation. That's really about it. Unless you're dealing with lava, then that would be obsidian. Stress vomiting. What? Hold up. Oh no. Well, Spoon's gonna have a bad time. Yes. Yep, Spoon's gonna have a real bad time on this one. Is they're puking into their suit. And yes, soiled suit is the worst debuff in the entire game. Like, low morale hurts you. Top eardrums, 20%. Soiled suit, the literal worst, at 40%. Okay, Spoon, get down here. Kill calories. Yeah, we're good on kilocalories. I don't really have to worry about that. But yeah, let me get on over here while we wait on poor Spoon to get over their issue. Ah, yes. Ceramic wise, turns into magnet 1849.9. Pretty damn good. Overheat temperature, I believe, was 200? Yeah. So as a whole, thermal conductivity 0.62. Pretty stable. It cannot survive magma though, because it's just not hot enough. Not uranium. I need obsidian. Obsidian is 2,726.9. This is every magma except for niobium. And thermal conductivity is 2. So that does heat up, but when it turns into insulated tiles, it's a little bit better. Find one. Yeah. Insulated conductivity is 0.020. Extremely good. Temperature-wise, it handles it extremely well. But if you're dealing with standard stuff and not magma, ceramic is one of the best materials in the game for it. And the other one. Yep, 100% stress. It is poor Spoon over here. They kept refusing to eat in the Great Hall. I gave them a Great Hall on a planet, and they refused to do so. So then they eventually hit the point where they just kept stressing. Yes, they're having a bad time right now. Sadly, they have now soiled their suit by puking into the suit. Yes, everybody else is fine though, weirdly enough. They've got low morale, but stress-wise, not really that big of a deal. Poor Spoon. Also, welcome back, Blaze. Oh, Bazeloff. Frodo. Please fill that. You need to pilot. Vern can live without a suit. That's fine. I will probably have to vent the rocket at this point. The CO2 has gotten just enough over the gas vent that it caused overpressuring to a psychotic degree. Suit. Okay. Proto, where are you, bud? There you go. Proto, suit. Ow. Yeah. Stop staring at him. Proto, suit. Put your suit on. You have 32% stamina. Come on, man. Let the autopilot do it all. Proto's just like, I'm gonna just sleep here. I'm out of stamina. Leave me alone. Okay, I am forcing you up. Thank you. Get your thing on. There you go. Sorry, Vern. You may be our digger, but you're kind of the semi-expendable on the oxygen side of things. So, he literally does nothing in here during the flight backs. Same with Spoon for the most part. Only Proto really matters. You guys kilocalories. Okay, you're all at 3K. We're good then. Hopefully when Spoon does his thing, should see this get cut down by half. Also need to go get that artifact. There is cobalt ore here. I'm very happy to see that this early, actually. That means we have a renewable source of both polluted dirt, mud, and cobalt. And it's close by. I'm so used to getting like actual ore or aluminum like way the heck out there. Like way over here where it's just not reasonable to go and get it until I colonize the planets nearby. Okay. Soon I'm going to de-equip your suit. The only reason being is yeah, that. Soon. Yeah, mop that up and then put your suit back on. That way it's not soiled anymore. There we go. That's much better. They're still going to have a horrible time of it, but they're not going to have 3-bar max increase Soiled suit problems. .8. Come on, Proto. You can do it. I believe in you. Actually, almost level 10 now. That's pretty good. Yeah, I know the solar panel's busted game. That's you know, kind of expected when we blasted a extremely hot steam rocket right next to it because we had to rearrange our landing pads. Not that big of a deal, but definitely an annoying thing that we'll have to fix when we come back. Thankfully we'll be landing here, and the only thing that'll get cooked is everything that's like there. Yeah, I won't go into there, it'll just get everything up in space. %. Not good. Unable to survive on the original size asteroid, let alone survive on smaller ones. Ah, gotcha. I keep screwing things up. Well, where do you keep running into problems? Is it oxygen, food, heat, baby cold? And base game, I would say base planets, cold's never really an actual problem. It's always a benefit, only because the game doesn't actually go to the temperatures that would make it a problem. Because I've done an Absolute Zero playthrough. That was horrible. Yeah, I will always state that that one was the worst. Just mechanically, that was the hardest playthrough I've ever done of Action Not Included, period. You've got the DLC enabled, okay. Just the first planet. So you're doing the Terra planet, correct? On original size or DLC size? Yeah, not even molten or AC ones, just standard, right? Okay. So if you're just starting out... Yeah, original size, okay. If you're just starting out, you'll start out with a printing pod and 4 duplicates. Or sorry, 3 duplicates. Make sure you pick things that went wrong. I'm guessing it's a giant laundry list. Problem with heat all the time. Yeah, heat can become a problem. But on average, like 30 degrees and below, no problem. It's really about where the cutoff point is for plants. Cold, not really an issue until you start hitting like negative 200. Negative 200 is where everything goes to shit in the well, it's pretty much just everything is perfectly fine until you hit 200, and then it's like pulling a pin on a grenade everywhere in your base. And it's just, oh no. Sorry, a coal asteroid? Yes. Okay, they're at 100% stress. That's fine. I got plenty of kilocalories to burn. And they also passed out. Awesome. Yes, feel free to make your laundry list, bud. I will try to walk you through other issues. Not enough water. Food based on water. Too many blossom seeds. As I did not have enough water, but it was too hot. Couldn't cool it down fast enough. Ah, yes. So, first things first. If you start a new playthrough, realize that there is a 15% speed boost by putting something near the printing pod. Easy chaining aqua tuners. Ah, gotcha. Yes, first things first, this is enough to give you your research stations increased. Also, this is enough light for bristle blossom, but only about like 4 of them, unless you daisy chain them in a really weird way. But the amount of light that is output right off the bat, especially on the Terra planet, is that you can use this as a light source. So you would just slap down some basic farm tiles when you get them. Oh, not that one. Like that. This area right here is enough for your bristle blossoms. This will handle 1 duplicate. Yeah, 5 of them are on the floor. If you open up the floor above them, yes. You can also do, which is a little weird to me, but I have done this once as a test. But you can technically daisy chain them by putting them in a really weird formation that's just a pyramid. Like that. Which does give you 8. It's really weird. I've seen a couple designs for it, and it's just like, okay, well, I can't put anything around it, but yeah, you can do that. It's really weird. Also, the case where the aquature seals off rooms had some debris in them I didn't see, and it became a solid mass near the base of the aquatuner, shutting it down. Ah, yes, you were dealing with sand. When you have dirt or algae that is inside one of these like little rooms where you have something like an aquatuner, you can actually see it here. When I put in salt water or polluted water, with polluted water you get dirt, and over 1 gram will form a natural tile when it gets converted, if it's a 1 tile like this. If you're dealing with a standard aquatuner setup like this, it will form at 100 grams or higher, and then that will form 1 tile, which will then shut off the machine. So you got to be careful of that. Personally, use salt water. Salt water, standard water, or brine will turn into salt, and salt does not form a natural tile. Polluted water will form a natural tile. So never use polluted water for sealing a thermal aquatuner room. Just keep it with salt, brine, and standard. You'll be safe. But yes, for food-wise, early on, I always resort to mealwood. It's just your standard resource. It does everything. For bristle blossoms, I rarely use them. I only use them when I go to the water planet, because they consume so much water. Unless you can get pips to plant them naturally, and then take care of it that way. But normally if you're by that point, then you can pretty much run whatever food source that you want, because you could be running sleet wheat instead. And sleet wheat naturally planted en masse is very, very broken. Because if you guys were here for my previous playthrough, we converted about yay big worth of space into a sleet wheat farm, and this took care of 36 duplicates by itself. Obviously, it took a little bit of ramp up because we had to wait on the sleet wheat to grow, but yeah, it was huge. And it was, I barely had to micromanage that. That was just, oh, we have infinite food now. Cocoon. Awesome. Running out of dirt and having too much hot water to make bristle blossoms, and then bye-bye mealwood. Yep. Yes. But yes, the very first thing I would recommend doing is probably going for hatches. Because if you're running the DLC, you will eventually need to get diamond. And the diamond comes from the diamond press. It's right here. Diamond press requires coal. So yeah. Just punch a hole in my aquatuner setup, which I noticed too late. Oh no. Yeah. Hatches are really simple because it's just one auto sweeper, a conveyor loader, and just the setup or this. Personally, you can just do it with one critter feeder and then dry feed them at 5 kilograms. And that also keeps them alive and working. I'm actually perfectly fine with the destructive dupe. The one dupes that I don't like, obviously, is the binge eaters because they're annoying. Stress vomiters are one of the best. Just in the game period because they actually produce polluted water. Especially if you're running on base normal speed because they will puke. But their kilocalories, they do drop, but it doesn't drop enough to equate to them going to the bathroom. So they actually produce water. Yes, Spoon, it is definitely you who's puking. You refused, and I mean this, you refused to eat in the Great Hall. I have no idea why. I forced your ass in here, and you refused to eat in here to get the bonus. Every time I forced you, you refused. I just said, screw it, you get a puke. You get to suffer. Because you're not obeying the overseer. I'm sorry, but... God damn it, man. Like... Yes, you were. You were assigned in there. I locked you in the room. I delivered barbecue to you, and your character refused to do anything. I was like, okay, fine. Screw you. You just live here now. Also, I should mention, because you are puking in space, you are also emitting all of your rats. Which is another really nice little fine feature of stress vomiters in space. Is they can't get radiation poisoning because every time they puke, they dump 100 rats. Pretty much. It's just that in this game, you actually end up producing excess because we're talking kilocalories. Not calories, kilocalories worth of energy. Yes, we have properly landed back at base. Temperature-wise, yep, all good. This is a little hot, but it should be fine. Also, it's time to refill the rocket. And close that. I know. But we're talking like we're talking 3,000 calories, like kilocalories worth of energy per day. Actually, not even per day, it's like what, per I think like what's it, 4/5 of a day? Because we're technically on a little micro asteroid that's floating around the Earth that got blasted off due to the neutronium experimentation. We're technically not running at a quote-unquote full daytime. Like, these little munchkins are flat out eating more energy than a human being could possibly ever handle without dying immediately. Like, they're immune to the cold, they're extremely radioactive resistant, and they also eat enough food to literally cause a regular human to explode. Duplicates are no joke on the level of absolute absurdity. If only they were smart enough to figure out their own AI pathing properly. Yes. Let's see here. I need to put in... And Faust, why are you using this bathroom again? Yep. Okay, I want excellent fruit. I want not pickled meal. Nutrient bars. The other one. Marker. Not sleep only, just put all of them in. Thank you. Yes, tubes are ridiculous. I mean, they're made of genetic ooze, and genetic ooze doesn't even melt. Until you hit, what was it? 9,000 something? I forget exactly what... It's like the duplicate will die at these temperatures, but they don't melt to death until they hit that certain point. Yeah, there it is. The melting point of a duplicate is 9,726.9 degrees centigrade. They don't even die on Mercury. They literally would only melt to death on the surface of the sun. I mean, seriously. They're completely immune to pressure besides popped eardrums. And you tell me. Ugh. Dupes are absolutely ridiculous. Just period. Dupes are ridiculous. Also, I need to flat out just sweep the entire place here. And take out all the iron we brought back. There goes refilling the rockets. Pretty effective. Spoon, what are you doing? You're having stress moments, you're going back to the rocket. What are you doing? You do sometimes. But yes, what is it in Faust? No, if gas mask saves from eardrum popping, it does not. Again, the oxygen masks leak CO2 and also do not protect against popped eardrums. Yep. These things suck. You were told it does? Yeah, no, it does not. It doesn't protect against squat. It gives them oxygen. That's all it does. And then they still exhale CO2. Which is actually a problem if you want to set up like a Draco farm. Because you need to keep the oxygen in the center. Depending on what you're growing, of course. It's like, I could fill the entire room with hydrogen and then put a little bit of chlorine on the bottom. But then sometimes it will still freak out from time to time. Also, I prefer to have oxygen in here in case one of the duplicants stay in the room for too long with their suit. Because if they're in the suit, they don't consume oxygen, and then they don't need to come out. I've had a couple dupes just pass out inside the room, run out of oxygen in their suits, and then just keep working anyway. Eventually, when they finally figure out that they can pathfind out, then they actually do it. It just makes it so I don't have to worry about them. An arbor acorn, they do exist. I like the doctor over here. I do. But I'd rather have a rancher. I will gladly take the arbor acorn. Thank you, game. Are we at full yet? Almost. Okay, so they can reach it. Yes, the one is not set up to pick it up. Only check. Very good. I should go get the rest of that, hopefully, shortly. Also had all that ice explode earlier. I am concerned about my water situation because I haven't been able to clean up all this yet. The other side of things, I think what I'm going to do have not much. We'll need to obsidian from here. That's great. Let's just obsidian the whole way up. I will be blasting a hole in this and letting all of the water that I will be pumping into this box from pretty much all the water sources to just go down here. I just need to insulate the entire edge of this and then set up some steam turbines down here in the bee area. To be honest, I really only want the bees to be over here, and I want this area pretty much from like there over to be part of a steam turbine setup so I can clean out all the lava below. That way we can free up all of this space and get all of this obsidian. Because I'm gonna need that. 100%. Definitely need that. Also probably need to swap out the rest of the plastic. At least to probably like right there. I don't think we'll be launching this rocket anymore. It served me well. Like it always does. Good rover launcher. I don't think I can actually reach Tripola with that rocket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be 8 requirements. And from even if I fill this up, yeah, it would make it. It's only got a range of 6 at total. Oh no, what? God damn it, man. Do we not have another? We do. That one I went down. Roto, over here and eat this. Eat there instead. Better for you anyway. And yes, I am making things as tightly compacted as I can while still maintaining all of my rooms. I'm probably going to rehash this entire area into the living space. Keep the spot I'm here. And probably clean out this beta hive. And maybe put in hips on this side. So I could technically move the fridge from here to all the way over here. And then set up multiple pip ranches all the way down. Then set up the industrial brick over here near where we're going to put out the lava. I feel like that's probably the future plan. And obviously that requires completely reconstructing the entire thing. Okay, good. And where's protopol? Right out. There you go. I'm almost tempted to just put a mesh tile here and just slap in a thing. I'm also probably going to lower the amount of dirt that they're allowed to eat. I kick this down to kilograms. That was, but I don't want to find it. Nobody getting hurt by bees. Looks like we're good. So I'm going to allow my dupes back through. Hopefully they should be fine. Let's just run all the iron right now and sort of make up all the steel afterwards. I really don't like digging up uranium because I want the bees to dig it up, but we have to get this in. Sorry, bees. I'll transport all this uranium back to you guys, but yeah, we gotta clean this up. All insulated already. We'll just get blasted out into space if I need to. I might want to make a plastic wall in here at some point. Something like that. Because eventually this will get uncovered and all the water will get, well, most likely vaporized at some point. Pressure protected. This is not a concern. Let's do that and make sure we get rid of all the sand. Degrees. So many millions of kilocalories of barbecue. It's beautiful. I am going to turn these ones off for a little bit. Let these two run. Roger that, Faust. Why was that one not getting enough power? 800 watts from that alone. Also, 469. Nice. Installed. That's all insulated. This I need to dig out. There's water. Okay, dupes, get in there and clean it out. We'll add insulation all the way down to about there where the abyss light is. Once all that's done, we should be good. Also, Alan, how you doing? I have one dupe. Good old cactus. Cactus, what's your... Oh my god, your athletics is now at 20. Good. Plants at 18 and machinery is at 16. 7. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. Not bad, not bad. What's your farming at, actually? Agriculture is at 11 already? Oof. Good old science dupes. They skill up real quick. I probably need to set this for 5%? Yeah, probably about 5%. We'll just keep running it at night. I have to use a cycle sensor with a OR gate to be able to actually micromanage the hydrogen when I only have one dupe here. When I got 3 dupes here, this is fine to run normally without needing this, but when you're just running like one dupe or you're moving dupes in and out of a base, setting up an OR gate for a micro Rodriguez, it's like a mini Rodriguez. Micro's just one. But a mini Rodriguez, this works out okay. It's like 3 to 5%, depending on what the dupe is. If they're a mouth breather, you can actually set it for less. You know, we need obsidian. Well, hopefully that's far enough away that it won't cause problems. Probably swap all this copper for wolframite. Good, good. Move that. Yeah, another arbitrate. Anyone injured? Nope. I may take all the water I am producing in here and just... I mean, it's all polluted. Kind of. It's got food poisoning because it's from the bathrooms. But I might take all that water and just dump it in here. And all of that water. And possibly all the excess water here. Dormant. Yeah, probably just take the cool slush geyser. Maybe the salt water geyser. It's not really going to make that much of a difference temperature wise. It's going to get hot and it will get processed. The rest. I should really cycle all the water in here. Boone, why are you still having... I have to make sure that they're not getting affected by that. Thanks. Where is... our brick? Boone, where's your bed? Where did you pass out on instead of having a bed? Which of my narcolepts has a bed that they shouldn't? That's the question. Lex, who has their narc bed. They're the only one that gets narc bed. Dan Wraith and Angry Bear. There they are. Dan Wraith. Go spoon their bed back. Our morale is in the ceiling. And rest that affect them. Cold air, soggy. And it's not terrible. I am going to stop running that for a little bit and let the system cool down. Because, yeah, it's got 250 degrees steam to get through. Definitely in the hot category. I'm just running the system just to keep it clean. Should keep the temperatures reasonable, not overkill most of it. I hate the fact that I need to do this. Nope. Also think I'm gonna need being ladders down here. That's not great. No, ceramic will survive. Barely. But it will survive. Okay. I barely have any ceramic made at this time. Process them up. Sometimes we're going to have to take the water from here. And pretty much all the rest of the water is going to have to all come down in here. Overall. I may seal this off and allow access from space. That way we can use the exosuits to dig everything up. Anyone else out here? They are not. Good. Now, hopefully the pips decide not to walk on this. It's really about all I can hope for. Come on, Dips, get in there. Wearing that. Helen. That's fine. Helen, we are not leaking gas anymore. And yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, all we need to do is get steel made up, ship it all over here. Any excess water, getting all that prepared, repair the solar panels, switch the rocket landing spot. And I think we'll be good. You need to go with the sword though. Like that. That's good. Let's take it all the way up. Once we get that installed, I can clean up the rest of this with Atmos suits. Extract all the resources from in here. Hand the uranium off to all the betas down here. Probably store up the rest of it. And then we'll start excavating into the lava biome and start releasing all the steam. I just gotta convert all of this to wolframite. And I also need to flood the whole place with water, so there's that too. I will admit we're going to lose quite a bit of oxygen, but let's small price to pay. The amount of water that I'm going to probably have if I take all of it for another dormant cycle probably will be enough to cool down this. I expect about this much. Because, yeah, that is so much that... No. I doubt it. I absolutely doubt it. I might automate food pickup later. We're gonna 8:15 to... Check back in at the start of the next cycle. Everything is sealed in and pressure checked. Okay. Get all that built, shall we? Guessing Spoon's the one still having trouble. Oh, it's Protopoly and Spoon. Why are you guys having issues? Interesting. I am confused, but okay. Even with venting CO2 into space, there's still too much of it. That's because of the coal generators, but yeah. Oof. That should be hopefully enough. Priority all of that. We'll get around to doing it eventually. There. Come on, bud. Yeah, sore back, athletics -1, not a stress problem. Thank you, Bear, for being the express guinea pig. I approve. Sadly, they have to go all the way up and around, but besides that, they're doing pretty good. Hmm. Let's see. Ooh, already 5:44. Wasn't paying attention to the time. Let's drop a save here. Made actually quite a bit of progress. I do need to get back to the oil planet tomorrow for sure. And we're getting really close to 6 AM here. I'm still feeling exhausted. More so, I am just sore. It's been 8 hours of VR. Ugh. It's quite rough.